In today's video, we're talking about shooting for the edit. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk to you about shooting for the edit. And what I mean by that is I want to introduce to you the idea of having some extra processes going on when you're taking the photograph, so that when you take it back into your computer, you've got all the components that you need to be able to do a proper edit. So for example, you might have captured an image where the composition is perfect, everything just looks fantastic, but then you take it home and you realize that the sky has been clipped, or you don't have enough information in the shadows to bring them up. And so you can't quite get the edit exactly the way that you wanted. Now, what you probably should have done is do some bracketing at the time that you captured the image, so that you've got some components that you can bring in and incorporate that into your final edit. And I know that that sounds like common sense, but people aren't doing it. They get home, they've got this fantastic image that they can get almost there, but it's not quite at the level that they want it to be. And so what I'd like to encourage you to do is that during the process where you're taking the photograph, is just think about all the different components that you might need. And bracketing is probably the most obvious one here. Clipping the skies or not having enough information in the shadows is a real common problem. So having some overexposed and some underexposed images that you can bring in, or components of those images bring into your final edit, is really going to help out. But also think about things like depth of field. You may decide at a later stage that you've got too much depth of field or you don't have enough. So shoot at different f-stops and just get different variations that you might be able to use. Okay, so let me put this into context with the type of work that I do. So I would say that probably about 70% of the work that I do is headshots. Now, for my branding sessions that I do, I'll usually deliver somewhere around 15, 10 images, that sort of number. But a lot of the times I'm working at a customer site and I'm photographing a lot of people. Sometimes it'd be 30, 40 people. And when they're getting, say, 3 or 4 shots each, the editing process has got to be really efficient. And one of the things about headshots is that not only do you have to concentrate on the actual person themselves, and we're not going to talk about editing the actual subject, but you also need to make sure that the background looks good. So I'm going to show you what I did the first time, the big mistake that I did the first time that turned it into a job that it was a nightmare. It took me, I think, 3 weeks to edit 150 photographs just because of this one mistake that I made. And because of that, I know that I need to have my background in a very particular spot. And if I move that in the wrong direction, say by even half a foot, I know that that's going to add at least another 1 or 2 minutes to the editing process. And so I'm paying a lot of attention to that, because I know that if I don't, that could turn a 3-hour job into a 7-hour job. Now, I'm going to take you into Photoshop in a second, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And you'll see that it is the slightest of changes, but if I don't pay attention to this, it's just going to turn it into a nightmare. So let's jump into Photoshop and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop, and I've got my first image. I've actually got 2 images here that I'm going to show you. So this is the first one, and this is what I would consider a photograph that's very, very easy to fix the background. So in this shot, you can see that I'm exposing the left-hand side here of the background, the paper roll, and you can see that it's even got like a bit of a crisp mark in there, like an indentation in there. And then you can also see that on the top right-hand corner here, I have one of the lights that's still showing. And that is, that's okay, I don't mind, because this is going to make it very, very easy for me to fix this. Now, as far as fixing the left-hand side here of the frame, a lot of people would just go into Lightroom and they would just crop it. The problem with cropping is that you are messing the ratio of the image, and also you are deleting pixels. So you're making the file a little bit smaller, which I don't want to do. So in this case, to fix these sort of problems, because it's quite minor, I usually just stretch the side that's got the problem. So in this particular case, it's going to be this. So I just use the square selection tool, which is the rectangular marquee tool. Once I select it, I do a Command T or Control T on a PC, and then holding the Shift key, I just stretch the selection to the left. And as you can see, when I do an OK there, I'll get rid of the selection. That's all nice and clean. And then this one here, this side here, all I do is I hit the lasso and I just select that little bit in there, and then doing my Shift Delete, I can do a content aware deletion in there, and that should take care of that problem. And there it is. And that looks fine now. Now, and this is an example of what I was talking about, which is I'm shooting for the edit, okay? So we're not going to do anything to the subject. This is just to show you how to fix up the background, which is something that can really extend your editing because, well, actually, let me just show you one where it's going to be a problem. So this is our second photograph, and this was just a test shot, but it's perfectly, it's a perfect image to illustrate what I'm talking about. So she has stepped, or I have moved, and we are now exposing the right-hand side of the backdrop, but she cuts into it. Okay, so whereas in this one here, let me just undo all those things that I did before. Whereas I'm still exposing the left-hand side of the background, I could do the stretch because I could make a selection in here where I'm only selecting backdrop. Basically, I'm not selecting her. Okay, if I was selecting her, then what would happen is if I stretch that out, then I am including her in the image, and you can see her arm there. That's not going to work. Okay, so that is why you can't use the same technique in here. I can't stretch just that bit of the backdrop because I'm grabbing her as well. Okay, so if I do it on that side, then that's what happens. Okay, so it doesn't work. And this is one of those things where I have done this in the past, especially when I was starting out. And this was a big problem because this requires me then to cut out the person completely from the background, build a brand new background, and then place them on the background, which is not a particularly difficult thing to do. But if you've got 150 images where you need to do this, then it becomes really inefficient because it's no longer a 30-second job. I can fix this in 30 seconds or less, probably less than 30 seconds. Doing the cutout and doing all of this stuff properly, it's going to take me a much longer time to do. And this is why I think you need to consider what your editing process is going to need in order for you to get the photograph. You need to get out of this frame of mind that I'll fix it in post. Yes, there are some things that you can fix in post, but there are some things that fixing them in post is going to take 20 or 30 times longer than doing it in camera. Here, all I would need to do is ask her to step just a few inches to the left, or even I can move myself to the right so that I've got the right perspective behind her. So again, this is sort of shooting for the edit, and hopefully this is something that you can introduce into your own process to try and save you time when you're doing your edits. So guys, that's it. Hopefully you found this useful. For myself, this solves two problems. Number one, it makes me way more efficient. I can turn out images much more quickly. But then the second one, which I think is actually more important, is that I end up with an edit that it was the edit that I wanted to do all along, because I've got all the components that I need in order to be able to compose that image exactly the way that I see it in my head. So it's just about changing the process. When you're taking the photograph, just altering that process and think, what else am I going to need? Am I going to need to bracket to try and get the highlights and the shadows? Do I need to increase my depth of field, decrease my depth of field? Do I need a backplate? Even if you don't need it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't cost you any more to take those images. So just have them there just in case you need them. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this useful. If you did, please don't forget to click the like button. Click the subscribe button as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I make videos like this all the time to help you with your photography. And I put them out every week. So if you're not a subscriber, make sure that you click that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I upload a new video. And if you have any questions, please don't forget to leave them in the comment section below. That's probably the best place to get in touch with me. Otherwise, you can reach me through any of the usual social media platforms. Again, please don't forget to like the video. If you've got any questions, leave them in there. Guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.